welcome to my show, Searching for Integrity. My name really is John Smith, and I'm searching for people with integrity. Why? Because our country suffers from IDD, Integrity Deficit Disorder. Today we have Stephanie Bailey, a return author of, where's my page now, John? I was going to do the big whammy here. Steffi is a longtime coach and expert, conceived of the 99 types of men featured. Oh yeah, better bring up the title. The author of, and the point, 99 types of guys. Has it gone any further since the 99 or?
Yes. I mean, I have more. The book is on a pause. My illustrator had shoulder surgery, so it's on a pause. But yeah, there's a second book that will be coming out. So there are more.
Well, I'm looking at this, and by the way, it was about 2 or 3 days when I thought, Stephanie. Then I looked at some of the stuff that I had obtained. And what it was the red shoes. I thought that's who that is.
Yes.
Now, how are you going to go to 198? 2 times 99?
Well, there's like probably 60 something more. I don't know if I'm going to do another 99, but
Right.
It'll be like, probably in the 60s, something like that. We'll see.
That's a lot of work.
Yes.
But you've sure done it on the first round. 99
I did.
types of guys. Have you had a lot of people, try and call you and say, I've got problems with my relationships? Are you still coaching?
I am still coaching. I'm a master life coach plus a self-love relationship mentor, coach, expert. But it's interesting because when people see my book, that's usually when they'll ask me a question about it or ask me about a type of guy that they are dating or have dated and what my opinion is or what my advice is, that type of thing. So it has definitely created buzz, which is what I wanted. It's an exciting journey. The title is very catchy. I was in Santa Fe. And I just happened to have the book. I was gifting it to this wonderful woman that was helping us at the hotel. And so I was, signing it. I had it next to me because after we had breakfast, we were heading over to the hotel so I could gift it to her. And this woman sat down with her husband next to us and she was like, oh my gosh, where did you get that book? I have to have it. And I was like, well, I actually wrote it. And she was like, no way. And she's like, is there any way I can get a copy from you? And I was like, absolutely. And so my partner ran to the car, got another copy. I signed it for her. So it's been very exciting, the buzz that it's been creating.
That's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking through here and through that list. You remember I'm a table contents guy.
Yes.
And I started thinking in a way, how's this table of contents going to get bigger if we're going to, do we have subtables and that like things? What's your ideas when they're all over 100?
Well, the second book would then start from like 1 again, because it would be like the second edition of it. But what I like about how I designed this book was you don't have to read it from like beginning to end to understand. I did, in case people aren't, clear on the type of guy that I'm mentioning or don't really know when I say he's similar to, this type of guy, I usually try to put that similarity type of guy beforehand. So if you're reading it and you're like, okay, I don't know what that means, you can always go back to a chapter or two before to understand who I'm relating it to or who I say it's similar to. But really, you could just open it and just read whatever chapters just, come to, very freely, which I like.
I had a brain movement on me, kind and say, at any point did you run out of men?
Not really.
I didn't think you were.
No, because I had originally the book was supposed to be divided as three. I think I mentioned it before, but it was supposed to be divided as three. Then it got into one, and because it was one book, there was more than 99 types. We just narrowed it down to 99. So because to say 200 types, I feel like that's a little overwhelming. I feel like 99 is a lot, but it's intriguing.
Yeah.
It's very catchy.
I wonder if you were to take these chapters of people and think about I guess the turnabout occurred if you, for instance, called that this person was going to be chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, there is no chemistry. Is there anyone that fooled you somewhere along the way in terms of
how they were and then how they weren't?
That's right. Exactly.
I feel like there are men that come in obviously showing their best foot forward, as also women can do too. They come in and they're just here's this amazing version of myself. And then you get to know them, and that amazing version isn't as amazing. Not saying that all relationships are perfect in any means. However, some people come in and they're like, this is my representative. My representative is everything you want to hear and everything that you want, but it's not really who I am. So there's that guy, that's in there. And there's even with the Angry Bird, clearly you don't know Angry Bird is, a guy who has a short temper and all that in the beginning. You find this out after a couple of dates where all of a sudden you're like, the way he just talked to that server, or the way he's reacting about this, that, or that, it's just, you don't see it right away. It's undercover because most people aren't going to show their worst foot forward. Otherwise, they're not going to get a second date, third date, or whatever the case might be.
Well, I'm not surprised with that. But then something like that, you have to have a lot of patience, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Because what your expectations are in the reality can be this big, or it can be this big. It's
right.
And I thought that somewhere in here, maybe I haven't gotten it yet. Is there somebody here? Which one was the chapter? Is two-faced?
Oh. That's so that's when you're dealing with Mr. Facade. Mr. Facade has one face, and there's even an illustration in there where it's he's got this mask up of who he is pretending to be, but he's really the opposite. So he's very two-faced on who he is. So that's Mr. Facade. So that is in there.
The two-face. Interesting. Sports fanatic. Let me guess now.
Yes.
Football, number one.
And
just football, baseball, basketball, soccer. I don't do
keep
soccer.
going. Yep, all of it. So a sports fanatic, loves sports. It even goes down to he will even watch hacky sack, for instance. He just loves all sports that he, literally every single day of the week, there's a sport he's watching. So it's not football, it's baseball. It's not baseball, it's basketball. It's not basketball, it's hockey. If it's not hockey, it's soccer. If it's not soccer, it's constant. It's tennis, right? It's just all gamuts of sports he will sit and watch and just be so enthralled with. So he's just very, very sports. So if you're a sports fanatic woman, this is your perfect guy.
You know how many sports fanatic women there really are?
Not a ton, but there are some.
Now, let's see. You're still in the Denver area.
Yes.
And I got that because there's probably all those mountain men there.
Yep. Yep.
And by the way, how's the weather up there this season? Anybody skiing?
We had a ton of rain. Now it's 90 degrees. I think it's like 95 or 96 today. But we had a
Welcome to
ton
the
of rain
club.
for weeks. And then all of a sudden the rain's gone and now it's like a heat wave. So that's Colorado in a nutshell.
Well, we lived there for quite a while.
Yeah, you were saying that. So you know the weather.
Yeah, yeah. We're now in Arizona.
And that's hot.
In Tucson. It's hot.
Mhm.
We were just yesterday, we were talking about when's it going to stop? When's it going to stop? And they have monsoons, but not early yet. And after about 2 hours of us griping a bit, here comes the rain.
Right.
And we got 2 hours worth of rain. It was so good. It was like,
You're like out there dancing. Finally, rain. It's cooling off.
Well, they have, Tucson is a city built upon what they call washes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if you turn down, you don't drive in the washes because you could get caught in one of those and drown. And the whole city is washes. So let's hope that we do find some more rain. Monsoon. Interesting. Excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have contest between each other for excuses?
Well, excuses it's interesting because I always say the amount of time a man, in this case, because it's a book about men, makes excuses, he could actually be just doing the things that you want him to do. But this guy has an excuse for everything: why he's not romantic, why he doesn't have time to hang out with you, why he doesn't think about holidays, why he can't be there for your birthday, whatever the case might be. This man has so many excuses for so many things. And so my whole philosophy is the amount of time he's wasting on excuses, he could be actually, being a better version for the relationship that he's in.
Well, maybe he's changed. You might include him in the second edition.
Right. I don't know though. He's already way in the past there.
Had his chance.
He had his chance years ago.
I saw on here that we didn't cover porn last time. What about porn guys?
So porn guy, he is addicted to porn. He's got to watch it all the time. If, I'm talking about constant. I'm not just talking about here and there. I'm talking about it's on his phone, it's on his iPad, it's on his laptop. He's watching it at work. He's watching it on his way to, work. I mean, it's a big addiction. And, in this case, this person not only was addicted to porn, but then he took it to another level, which was then hiring women for sex. And so, yeah, I did not know that, obviously, when I dated and, this person. So that was definitely a shock. And even then it went into a deeper realm where that's what ruined his marriage because, she found out about this addiction. And, just like I feel like with all addictions, unless you are willing to completely stop, it's going to be an issue later on in all your relationships because you can't just say like, oh, if I watch a little, it's okay. It's like, somebody who's a, heroin addict. Oh, as long as I do a little bit, I'm okay. It's like, that's not how it works from what I know, but, not personally, but I'm just saying in general, like, I feel like an addiction, you need to stop and get help. You can't just say once in a while. I don't think that works.
I wonder if you decide sometime to find someone refined, what would that person refined act like?
A refined man is somebody who is usually a little bit older. It's how he dresses, it's how he treats you. He's very polite in his actions. He's romantic. He's very chivalrous. Honestly, it's like you hit the jackpot in a sense, because this is a man that respects women. He comes from a different generation, which obviously in this day and, age and era, you think about it, there's a lot of men who are lazy, and their idea of dating is, swiping to the right or left. I don't remember anymore. It's been forever since I've been on the dating sites, but whatever that is, where you're just like swiping, to figure out who you want. And even when you find that person, it's the most uneventful, I would have to say, experience of really connecting and meeting, that person. It's like, it's that quickie of like, do you want to meet? Yes. Okay. Let's meet. Okay. Do you want to continue to hang out or not? I mean, it feels very technical now with the dating, but like with refined, it's more time. A refined man is going to pick up the phone. He's not going to text, and if he does, it's not as often as when he picks up the phone. So.
Right. I'm not a texter either. Don't need to. Now, we think the time that we lived up there, our kids were going through elementary, junior, high school, and then both of them end up in Boulder.
Oh, nice.
For college. Yeah. And I thought about that. What do you think about the seasons up there? Now, there used to be pretty good seasons. You could expect what it was going to be like. Has that changed any itself other than being hot every day?
In Denver, if you remember, we don't get the 4 seasons. You really get more the 4 seasons in the mountains. But in Denver, it's not really 4 seasons because it goes from, we have our winter, which doesn't really seem like winter. I'm from upstate New York originally. And so it's like, it'll snow, but then 2 or 3 days later, it's melted because it's warm enough here. And we're one of the states that has the most sunshine. And then we go from no spring really, right? There's no spring, it's just rain. And then we go right into our summer. And then we go from summer to like getting cold again. So all of a sudden there's no leaves on the trees, but then it's cold. So we don't really have the 4 seasons. I don't feel like in Denver, but in the mountains, yes. So when you're dating somebody who is, a seasoned guy, and loves the mountains, because you mentioned mountain man, that's a guy that like literally loves to be outside. He really enjoys that type of environment. So if you're somebody who's not a skier, a snowboarder, a hiker, a mountain climber, a mountain man's probably not going to be for you. And I have dated mountain men, except they're really not my cup of tea, because when I was younger, I did a lot of that. I tried skiing. It wasn't my jam, but we did a lot of, camping and hiking and biking and canoeing and all of that stuff, my parents. And so, it's just not my thing. I'll go glamping, but I'm not really into camping.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Big difference between the foothills and the mountains. Big difference.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You better be prepared as well as you can.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not.
Let's see. An orgasm snatcher?
Yes. So this is a guy who is not concerned about a woman's needs. He's only concerned about his own. And so he literally snatches your orgasm away, meaning because he's not concerned with you climaxing, he's so concerned about himself. Usually he's quick draw, which is a guy who's very fast in bed. And he's less concerned about you. He doesn't really check in to be like, are you good? He's not really concerned about that. And so there's like positions he'll get into where you're like, you're kind of messing up my groove here, but he doesn't care because it's all about him.
Well. There's more of them than ought to be.
Yes, unfortunately. Luckily, I don't have that in my life, but yes, there are. Right. Clearly, like, when
you were describing the mountain man, I could see this guy pulling a canoe behind his car.
Yes. Yep. And then like the snowboard, or in the wintertime, the ski racks.
Sure.
The bike on the back, the mountain bike. Yeah.
If you don't like your knees, go skiing.
Yeah.
I did. I had a knee replacement.
Yeah, I'm not. It's so funny. I'm not a skier. People are like, why are you in Denver? I'm like, it's nice, but I'm not a skier or snowboarder.
No,
So
it's a lot of work too.
it is a lot of work. I mean, not just getting up to the mountains in the traffic, but getting all your gear. You have to love the cold. I do not. So yeah, it's a lot of work, especially for somebody like me.
Well, that's always hard up and down I-70. Always.
Yeah.
And you got to make your time. Because we were living in the Denver area, and she was running a ski lodge.
Oh wow.
And so you have to get in the right mood and also in the right time, so that if you don't, by 15 minutes you miss it, and all of a sudden this throng of cars, where did it come from?
Oh
Coming and
yeah.
going, coming and going.
And you also know, if you remember, not everybody's a great driver. So you're getting also not only the stuck in traffic and the mountain driving, you're getting the people that are freaked
Right.
out about the mountain driving or the snow.
Sure.
And so they're either driving super slow, or they're driving too fast. I mean, it's just very nerve wracking. And you're right. It's a matter of minutes, whether you hit that traffic or not.
You have to be a good planner.
Mm-hmm.
What's the opposite of planner on here?
To me, lazy dater.
Okay, that works.
I'm a planner, so I feel like a lazy dater does not plan.
Right.
They're just fly by night in a sense, and spontaneous, is in there, and spontaneity is great. However, if you're not a planner, sometimes that doesn't work either, because if you're trying to plan, or if you're trying to take somebody on a trip, not everybody can just leave last minute. So for me, I'm probably an over planner, but it works out with me being with somebody who is not an over planner all the time,
Right.
because then we balance each other off.
Right. That's smart thinking, I would think. Let's talk a little bit about your book and
Yes.
where it's sold and where people can go to get it.
My book is on Amazon. It's also on Goodreads, so it's on both. You can also get it on my website, which is miss-adventures.com, if you want a signed copy by me. It's also in various stores here in Denver, Colorado, which I'm very excited about. It's in Barnes & Noble's also here in Colorado. I haven't actually reached out to other states to get my book out there at this point, because I've been really marketing more locally here in Colorado and on my social media pages. But yeah, that's where it's at.
Well, that's good. That's good. And when do you think? When's the shot in the future where you're going to do this and publish it again?
I would say, because I already know what the cover is going to look like. So I'm thinking that the second version of this book will definitely be out by 2024 is my goal. I'm also working on another book about being a stepmom / bonus mom / what I call co-influencer, and what that's like to be in this role. And I'll have a journal that will coincide with this book as well. And then there's a dating book I'm working on as well, for people who are out there dating and understanding, dating takes work, and it can be fun because you learn a lot about yourself, what you want, what you don't want, which is a great thing. And you just can have fun with it. It doesn't have to be something that is frustrating, scary, although I will touch on the fact that it can be. But when you take that patience, that time, and take away those lists that we have, that we say, this is exactly what I want, when you remove that, love is able to come in.
Good. I like that description.
Thanks.
And I want to thank you very much for being on my Searching for Integrity again.
Thank you.
And yes, and there's only been 2 people in 2 years that has done this. So pat your back on the back. Pat your back on the back of the back. How that work? Well, let's see. Now we get to the serious stuff. That's the end. And the end is, I have to tell my listeners, and you've done that. And let's see. And thank my listeners. I have to thank them to come back and listen to Searching for Integrity. And let's see. Thank you very much again. So long and happy trails to all until we meet again.